a second there. Okay. So first of all, Digital Skills School, we're a tech school. We are located in Lagos, Nigeria, and we provide ICT and tech training services to young people from around the world, right? So the fact that we are in Lagos, Nigeria does not mean that we serve only people within this geographical location, right? A lot of the tech industry is among the highest employers of labor right now. So the fastest way to get out of unemployment in the world, right, to start making money quickly within a very short period of time is to learn a tech skill. It doesn't have to be programming. It can be anything. It can be design. It can be drop shipping. It can be digital marketing. Just learn something that has to do with the internet. And it's one of the fastest way to transition into a very lucrative career in the 21st century, right? And if you are here and you've never considered it, I'm hoping that the things you will learn here would help you to make the decision to want to transition into tech, because it's an amazing field. And all you need to succeed in the tech space is your laptop, an internet connection, and your willpower to want to keep improving yourself, to want to keep learning, right? So that is what Digital Skills School is all about. So of course, you can check us online on our Instagram. Just search for Digital Skills School on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. We are everywhere. And our website is digitalskillschool.org, right? So that is just a little bit about us. Now, I want to take the opportunity to introduce the tutor, or yes, our facilitator for tonight, Mr. Yusuf Abdullahi. Now, Mr. Yusuf is a full stack software developer, and he has been in the industry for a number of years. Now, I've come across a lot of developers, right, in my time. I'm a tech generalist, right? So I specialize, I have like knowledge, a broad knowledge across the different, tech spaces, right? I don't my own specialty is in branding and marketing, right? But I have a general knowledge of the tech space. So, but Mr. Yusuf is someone that knows when it comes to programming, there's nothing you want to tell him that he does not know about. He has so many stacks. Some people are just mean, some people are just men. I mean, of course, when we get into it, we understand what mean men, but he also understands LAMP. LAMP is PHP. I mean, I don't know I don't have too deep knowledge in programming anyway. So, but Mr. Yusuf is someone that is really, really fast, and he has built a number of projects, both locally in Nigeria here and internationally as well. And he has worked with both foreign companies to build and deploy mobile apps and the rest of it. So without further without too much hyping, let me just introduce Mr. Yusuf to take the stage, take the mic from me, and begin to tell us what we need to know about how to build a career in programming. Now, mind you, this is just a basic introduction into front-end development, into full-stack web development. We still have like a 3 months course, a 5 months course, that of course, if you find this particular introduction interesting, you could take advantage of it and, start building a career in tech. So Mr. Yusuf, if you can hear me and if you are ready, you could unmute yourself and let's get started with this class so that we can get the most out. We can make the best out of our time.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me clearly. But
Evening.
Yeah, I doing? If you're good.
Yeah.
All right. So just like the moderator said, I'm Yusuf Abdullah Uluwadsimlane. So whichever one is fine by you, you can address me. So if at any point in time you lost the connection or couldn't hear me clearly, you can always break the conversation so that you don't miss any bits of the conversation that we're having. And trust me, you're going to gain a lot in this program today. And today it's generally about the masterclass. So this is actually going to prepare you for a career in tech, and also it is going to kind of build the motivation you need and the passion you need to grow better in tech. Also, And with this particular program, I think if you think there's a particular point where you are missing out or you actually do not feel comfortable, you can always ask questions here. So we are going to be taking a number of questions today and would respond based on the scope of this particular program that we have for today. So before I proceed, I don't know if you would like to know more about me. Basically, throughout my young career, I actually I'm based in Ibadan generally, but and also I've spent most of my life in, let me say, Nigeria generally. Okay, so I think that's it about me. So in case we have anything to do later, you can be able to, at least give little information about me. I think it's that fine by everybody. Is that fine by everybody? Sorry.
Sure.
All
Yes,
right.
yes.
Okay. So, well, I think that's fine. So just give me a moment so that I can share my screen, and I think that's going to take me a while. So sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, I think you should be able to see my screen now. Hello.
No, not yet. We can't see your screen
No,
just yet.
it's not visible yet.
Does it help?
No, not yet. We can't see your screen yet.
Okay. If you can't see my screen, come on. All right. Just confirm if
I
you can.
can see the screen, by the way. It's all good. It's all clear. Just letting you know.
All right. So I would like everyone to mute their mic so that we can all gain a lot here. And also, if it's not really required, you can stop your video if you think it's not it's not really important. So that you have a clear traffic here and better network for every other person that is trying to access us, access this program with probably a lower or a substandard internet connection. So I think so. Just me and the slides. I think that's okay for the program. So thank you. I hope that's clear. Yeah. All right. So basically, digital skills course, just like the moderator as described, we are based on skills that involves digital, just the digital world. Let's say digital world. So skills like probably anything related to programming and some other skills, just name it. So we are into that, and I think so far we've been able to graduate certain number of students from this particular course, from this particular school, and I think they all are doing well where they are currently. We have a number of them in top companies in Nigeria and some other companies outside Nigeria. So I don't want to take much of our time, so I will just dive into the course itself. So the webinar is to create what you're going to be taking home from this particular webinar are stuff like what are the startup resources that you are going to need to be a programmer, then just the normal overview of web development, the app development, the brief introduction to cloud and hosting technologies, route towards a career in web application, and the salary range. I know that's what we all want to hear. when we talk about salary range, so salary range is something that everybody is always interested in. And I'm not going to lie to you, there is a lot to gain in programming. There is a lot of money in it and some other stuff. Okay. So what are the sectors that I feel like programming is going to come into play? So I would make my priority cybersecurity. So in cybersecurity, the program, so we have scripts like Bash. We write programs into Bash at times to run certain scripts, to run certain codes, to execute one of the things on the internet. So at times you might be planning to turn up an instance, and part of these scripts help they really help us in terms of executing codes and running codes that we actually need to probably block some sort of attacks and the likes on the internet. So other sectors that this programming cut across is algorithm and data structures, software development, web development, mobile app, backend, database, game, machine learning, cybersecurity. When we talk about algorithms and data structures, so basically you come across this in programs where you can write JavaScript to execute probably some set of data that you have. So and I'm not going to go deeper, but I'm going to touch based on this stuff so that you can have a proper understanding of what it is. So we develop softwares and we write codes, and these codes are then what we model to build software. So, but generally, the code you're writing is not the same code you are seeing on your mobile app, and it's not the same code you are seeing on the web. So we have to build these codes before you get these codes available, before you get them, before the browser or your mobile app converts this particular codes into human readable words on the internet. So basically, what we bundle these programs into on the web, we use stuff like Webpack and the like. So use them to bundle the application. So this trying to tell you this because when they tell you, okay, what you write is what you see. What you write is actually not what you see. What you write is going to get compiled, and these browsers or wherever you want to deploy the project reinterpret this particular code with its own readability. You understand? So I'm just trying to go a little bit deeper in this so that you don't get confused about this. Same thing goes for the mobile app and for the backend. Backend is basically what drives your machine. What drives your machine. So the mobile app you have is not a single application. The web you have is not a single application, although it is being splitted into stuff like layers of applications, but at the same time, we do not call it a single application. Reason being that we have some set of securities in place that allows people to be able to access this particular backend. Because when you make requests on your phone, example is your banking application, what you are doing is not you are not directly interacting with your bank account. You are interacting with some set of let me use the taxi as an example. Those people that serve all these foods, you as the visitor, you are interacting with these people, and these people are the ones interacting with people in the kitchen. So how to get the logic? So now, splitting this into three different phases, we can say we have the what's called the first layer, probably let's call it the client layer or the application layer. Then we can now say the second layer, which is the app layer, where they pass the food from the kitchen to the servers before it gets you understand. And we have the database too, where we store your food and your data and everything. That's the main reason why we do not call it a single application because they're split let me say, we splitted these applications. So go to anywhere, you still have the same structure. So the other structure, or let me say further build down, can be into microservices. Now that you have this particular kitchen that has the food itself, as you know, your food cannot be just a single meal. You cannot use rice alone. You get, you have to take probably your meat or something from somewhere. This meat is in a different something. So this meat that is in a different something is what we actually call microservices. These microservices affect, or let me say, these microservices is what we combine together. When you combine the meat alongside the rice, your stew, you get your full package. So, example, when you transfer money, you settle the banks, different banks. When all is settled, that's when you feel like everything is complete. And another microservice there is you do not get your alerts immediately. So that's why you say, I've gotten the money, it's in my bank account, but I've not gotten a debit alert. Why? Is because another microservice is handling that part. This microservice is way different from what you actually have because we combine them together to give you an application. I hope that part is still not clear. So I've been able to explain the database part of your application like that. So we also do this in our game development, machine learning, and cybersecurity parts of this application. So we have the cloud computing, the IoT, the embedded system, the blockchain, which is the recent technology that has really called no. So this blockchain is basically, you know, the peak. I would call it the peak. That's the 3.0, the 3.0 that we have currently. Majorly, the main reason why I'm calling it peak is because it's work in a decentralized format. So when we get to that part, I'll explain further and I will shed more light on that. So I think that's just it. So the pros and cons of web development, or let me say web generally, is increase your technical proficiency. You, with what I've explained so far, you can also explain that to your colleague at work or something. You are now getting better in terms of tech compared to your colleague at work. So this increases your technical know-how, you know, so I'm trying to say, and you also get some sort of high-paying jobs. High-paying jobs. I would like to do medical doctors and the likes, AI, everything. They're also getting paid, but tech is also part of what we have currently. So, and one of the high-paying jobs. Imagine you build an application that can work or replace about 15 people. You understand? How I didn't get paid. You understand what I'm trying to say? So the flexibility is that you can't actually work from anywhere. Amazon can hire you and tell you to stay in Nigeria and work for us from Nigeria. You know, the effort and the commitment, so it's just too much because you get to kind of commit to 12 hours, 15 hours a day working with your colleagues and the like. And also the issue we have is tech is moving, it's not stagnant. So what you have today might be archaic tomorrow. So you definitely have to kind of keep learning and keep developing the skills you have currently. So it's not a school degree where you gain a certificate and decide to say, okay, the next thing is masters in programming. When you learn a particular part, the next part might might not be needed again. You understand? So we might have different sections that you need to go into. So and the issues that we have is just that here we have a lot of tech stacks. So imagine the popular JavaScript, which has TypeScript dependency, development dependency. TypeScript is not a language on its own. It's just a development dependency based on JavaScript. So why I'm saying this is it's unprofessional or for a professional to tell you TypeScript is a different language. No, it's not a different language on its own. So we have extended work hours, 30 views. The main issue that developers are is just that the main issue is they are always open to high defects due to the number of hours they use. on their mobile, on their laptops and whatever screen they're using to work. So we have some other ones like that, but due to time, let's just move faster. So the main thing I'll be explaining in this particular program will be based on web application. You say web today, we've gone beyond, way beyond 1.0, and the 2.0 you are using currently is we're already converting them into 3.0. The main reason why we are doing this is because we do not want a single entity to have access to all your data. If a single entity has access to your data, it is likely that you, you get you, you are not safe. You understand? Just like you have a gate man. The gate man he has the keys to all the doors in the house. They're not safe. But if you have about 15 gate man, the 15 all of them they have a secret code that needs to interact with them. You understand? So these secret codes, or let me say you have a way you've tied them down. They do not have access to each other. So and since they do not have access to each other, I believe it's hard for you to get probably pushed out. You understand? Or it's hard for you to actually have access to one of the things. So a similar case is, let's say, a situation whereby you need to be thrown out of the building or something, but everything is decentralized. So once these data are decentralized, you get to kind of you are safer. Let me say you're safer. Yeah, that way. So part of the static web 1.0, we all are aware of periods like 2003, early 2000. The way internet looks like then is somehow bad. You do not have access to it. It's just like a single paper. So with 1.0, to me, the way I'll explain it is it's just like you printing a sheet of paper. Now with 2.0, it's just like you kind of using, or let me say interacting with a PowerPoint presentation. When you're interacting with a PowerPoint presentation, a well-prepared PowerPoint presentation, you are definitely going to have access to stuff like stuff like maybe you have a video that is playing, or probably you have a video that you can play and pause, an animation, stuff like this. There are technologies that we have that were brought in during 2.0. So 1.0, you can see the difference now. Just static something that you cannot interact with. So the full definition that you can give to anyone who wants to know about 1.0 is just static, something that does not have any moving parts. But come to the age of 2.0, you can log in, you can access your accounts, you can play games, video games, you can do a lot. Now, going into 3.0, you now have decentralized applications whereby you are not even tied to an account or something. With 2.0 is the main reason why data analysts are in high demand, because we have a lot of data to interpret. And the interpretation of these data is actually what is going to help us in the current situation that we have. We want to do a 50 years forecast. We want to know the number of unemployed guys or males or females in India. We can use the data for anything. But if with 3.0, if we fully activate 3.0, all these might be hard to interpret. It's not like we won't have data to interpret, but the data are being locked down somewhere in a network. So it's probably not going to be very easy. And currently now, GDPR, data restriction policies, are becoming stronger to the extent that if you notice before, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, you cannot most applications don't have this access that will tell you delete your account. Recently, if you check most of the applications now, we now have access to delete your accounts. What GDPR brought in, part of what GDPR brought in is that can now decide to say, this is what I want to do. I own my data. I own my email. This is my name. I don't want to have my account on your what's it called on your particular database. If this company still have access to your data, you can sue this company. So, but not in a lot of people do not have access to these stuff. So, and that's the main reason why we're in Nigeria, we have issues with companies. A company can just decide to say we want to sell your data, we want to sell your emails, and that's the main reason why you keep getting spam mails from different people you get. So these are part of the reasons why. So let's just we have limited time there. So I would love to show you what it feels like, doing Web 1.0. We all are familiar with Internet Explorer. You should visit Internet Explorer now. You need to look somehow shitty, blank, It's not what we want because in the recent world, we now have animations, babies that are dancing, there are some splash screens when you visit applications and something that pulls you that no, these people are not offering cool services or something, but the way they built the application is kind of fascinating somehow. But imagine that they bring in Google during the year 2004, 5. Nobody is going to access the internet because you even feel comfortable. I hope we get the logic. So part of the applications that are available that are based on 2.0 applications like Instagram, Dropbox, WhatsApp, Azure, GCP, the Google Cloud Platform, Drive, Snapchat, and the likes. So, and the 3.0 itself is what they have here, the metaverse, DOA, blockchain, Bitcoin, and everything. So by now, I think this is a take home. You can now differentiate with 1.0, 2.0, and the 3.0 that we have currently. So most of the applications that we have currently, so 70% of them are still based on 2.0. And I think gradually we're going to transition into the 3.0 generally. So this this Web 2.0, what does it comprise of? We have HTML. So I can clearly tell you in whatever you see on the internet, whatever you see on the internet, it has bases, you understand? It has roots. So most, or let me say basically all, their roots are the HTML tags. But these HTML tags, when they are compiled, at times when they are compiled, we do not get to see these HTML tags anymore, just because we've introduced some libraries, frameworks, and the likes. You understand? So that's the main reason why. So a sheet of paper, a black and white printer, and a colored printer are two different things. A black and white printer is your HTML. A color printer is your styled HTML. And styled HTML is nothing but adding CSS. So your white rice and your jollof rice are two different things. Your jollof rice is your spiced white rice. So your website is just okay. So, and before I finish this part, so we have the main JavaScript. The JavaScript is a popular thing to see. So after your jollof rice and your white rice, so we now bring in some what's it called, some sort of additional combination. So this additional combination are stuff like when the recent parties now you have some sort of effect where you can boil your food at the point on your table. So we have these pot stands that are very mini or something. These are the interactions we have. With that, if your food is going to be served hot, you get. So this JavaScript is the main engine. You cannot use CSS to energize a system. Yes. So engine that drives the burning coal that you have there is JavaScript. You get the moving parts of your ship or something is basically the JavaScript. It's nothing than the JavaScript. So we can have a site that does not use CSS, that does not use JavaScript. But whenever you start seeing interactions comes in by some sort of engines. This engine is basically JavaScript. So I didn't talk about the SAS because SAS is a CSS compiler. So we have different ways to write CSS, and we have different ways we interact with it. So this interaction is brought to you guys by compiling SAS into CSS. So SAS is also a different way you can write stylings in JavaScript. We have a lot. We have tailwinds. We have different ones like that. So the TypeScript is just the development dependency, which is based on JavaScript. So don't get this twisted. Don't get this twisted. And what you have there is just some sort of type checking. It's just like you have the security at the gate. Instead of you to walk out freely, the security is going to check, do you have an ID card? Where's the ID card you used to come into this particular program? This same ID card is what you're going to use to exit this particular program. So sort of type checking like that, that's what we actually use TypeScript. And we have the Bootstrap, we have the jQuery, we have the PHP. The Bootstrap is just sort of similar to Tailwinds and the likes. And yeah, just some sort of ways, or let me say, built down stuff that you can use to model the application. Such same related is jQuery, and we have the popular PHP, which as JavaScript as is now getting traction than PHP currently. So PHP is what WordPress is basically, most of the WordPress sites are basically based on, but you can still have different features there. You can customize PHP. PHP is also you combine your HTML through there, you combine your CSS through there. PHP is one of the is the similar engine to JavaScript. So but in PHP you can also introduce JavaScript. So they all work hand in hand, but it depends on how you want to interact with it. The take home here too is that you can now differentiate between these guys, and there is nothing to memorize there. You don't need to memorize anything. Here, we are just trying to enlighten you. We are not telling you to master anything now, but I'm very sure tomorrow, when you pick up a piece of book related to this, or you enroll for this course, you are going to be able to relate these stuff together and say, oh, this is similar to what what was explained in the previous session that we had, referencing to the other part. So frameworks and libraries. These frameworks and libraries, depending on JavaScript, we have a lot that even the people that founded this particular language cannot know everything. So you don't have to stress yourself. Pick the ones that are common, the ones that a company needs, the ones that are still out there burning, you get, and get to interact with it and work with it. So we have Vue, we have Angular, we have React, we have Next, we have a lot. They work similarly. Vue is just similar to React, similar to Angular, but they have different ways that they interact with the system. Currently, job posting requires React because React is still acting. React is still available, and it's kind of part of the early JavaScript libraries that we have currently. But at this point in time, what makes React cool is just that React breaks system down into components, and that's what others do. But different libraries frameworks for different functionalities. So Next, and I don't think that's here. That's not here, but it's kind of gaining more traction just because hackers are now kind of familiar with all these libraries that we use. attacks are coming in. And now we need to run stuff on the server and process it to you. Instead of running it where you are on your machine, you need to run them on the server and process it to you. And that's where we're getting stuff like Next and the likes, because they are server-side rendering. Banking applications, finance systems, they now use Next. Most of them now use Next just because it has the ability to run based on subnets, private and public, on the cloud, on the server before processing it to you. This allows us to be able to secure web applications very, very well, because hackers are now out there looking for who to exploit, companies to exploit. So we have backbone, tenancy, a lot of them. So a particular library or framework can be for styling, another one can be for what's it called, can be for design, D3 for data visualization, a lot. So you cannot know everything, but based on requirements, you can have a full understanding of this and this and this and this. You can see we have etc. at the end after the underscore JS. So we have a lot. So I hope you get what makes this different from the main JavaScript itself. We're all still based on the JavaScript. So we transition into design libraries. So design libraries helps you. So now you might just need little understanding of CSS, just little, then use design libraries. This makes the whole thing easier. You don't have to know everything before you use these design libraries, because they are helping blocks. Let me call them helping blocks, because Tailwinds, Tailblocks, iPower, UI, Gas, UI, Mamba, we have a lot that you cannot know everything. You pick the best and you use them to style your system. So I basically recommend design libraries because they are processed, compiled easily, other than building long CSS scripts. You at this lower level might think CSS cannot be injected, but now you can inject CSS stylings and hack your system. So these are part of what we are trying to run away from, and that's why we evaluate design libraries, frameworks before we utilize them. So I've explained the layers of application, but this is like a proper breakdown of what we have. When you what you're interacting with currently is what we essentially call the front end. The main engine that drives the system is the API. Where your data is stored is the database. So there are just three different things. So next time when you say, I don't know what's wrong with my this particular mobile app, it might not, if the issue is probably the app is breaking down, definitely it's a front-end issue. It's a bug or something. But when you cannot process transaction, it's either you're having a bad network. If your network is good, definitely the server is busy. So you need to be able to differentiate between what is wrong. So just like when you say, I don't know what's wrong, these people they do not have enough resources to cater for the number of people they have. Imagine a 2 gig RAM operating system trying to process 2,000 requests at the same time, or 10,000 requests at the same time. It is not possible. Input-output operation will grow, and once it grows, the system breaks down and it becomes busy. So, and stuff like this are server-based, not from your own end. And that's why we say the engine itself of mobile applications, web applications, is the API, and that is the app server. Then the database, depending on the input-output of the database, it's usually does not really get busy as compared to the backend itself, because backend runs logics too, you understand? So these logics are depending on what kind of application. An application might be CPU intense and it might be memory intense. We have a lot of stuff there, but just we have the scope for this particular program. So let's get to see what we have concerning the web application. So sorry that it seems I'm rushing somehow, but it's just that we have limited time left. you can compile your questions, and at the end of my presentation, you ask your questions, and I will be able to answer them. I would love to answer the questions you asked. So the web application you see there comprises of frameworks, task runners, libraries, modules, test editors, API, version control, packages, managers. Now I talked about libraries and frameworks. These libraries and frameworks, how are they managed? Who is managing them? Who is managing them is where package managers comes to play. After in which your bank has deployed the application, they will tell you they have an urgent update. Urgent updates are controlled by version control systems. Updates are based on three versions. We have the major, we have features, and we have bugs and fixes. So next time you see 1.0.0, that's the first major release. No issues have been updated or features have been added, and no particular bugs or fixes have been updated. But when you go ahead to 1.0.1, then issues start coming and stuff like that. You get, so that's how you see applications on the internet. They might have 1.50 something points, maybe 10 something. So a lot of breaking changes in the application. So that's just by the way. So the APIs I explained, which is the app server, is what you have there. The text editor is just there because you're writing a code from, probably your machine, VS Code, or anything. So these are the text editors for hybrids. The libraries, the model bundlers I explained, the task runners, the frameworks. So that is concerning this part. So we get to know better once we are together. Yeah. So these package managers can be NPM, we have YARN, we have P and QM. So package managers, what we use to the packages that are used to build up application. Your jollof rice. In African homes, we used to have particular bowl where they will tell you pick that particular something. That's where you have the ingredients for your jollof rice or something. I think African homes generally they have ways that they keep their sauce. So these ways, these package managers, node modules, is what I call that buckets. Yes, that buckets that you keep all your jollof rice, fried rice, ingredients. So that's where we model them or something and just put it that way. So we have the module bundlers, which I've explained before, task runners to version control systems and the likes. So version control systems, Git, especially, that's a popular one we all know. We have different repositories to keep this thing and monitor versions to Bitbuckets and the likes. So they are majorly, you can store codes there and you are able to monitor your codes till you finally deploy them or something. So this is basically to be able to finalize this is going to production or not. So then just put it out there. So, but at this point, I hope you can now specifically say what people are building is not the same thing we are saying on the internet. It is the bundled version that you're saying. If you are to send what you are building to you, you won't even be able to build it. Yes, so that's it. So frameworks, libraries, APIs, text editors, I've explained them, but this just little breakdown based on what we have. You can say frameworks like React, Angular, Angular Backbone, Medium Rails, Django, Flask, libraries like Axios, jQuery, Bootstrap, and APIs, breaking this down, you have RESTful APIs, GraphQL APIs, and text editors, Visual, Sublime, Atom, Webstone, IntelliJ, Idea. Some are paid, some are not paid, but one thing about developers is that most of the stuff we use are based on open source. And when we say something is open source, we basically know that open source stuff means you can use them freely, and that's why developers do not really buy tools. Why? Cybersecurity buys for some other guys buy tools to operate. But you as a developer, all you have to do is just to enroll for the best course, they put you through, and that's the main reason why you're here. They put you through and they tell you what to do. From there, you scale and you can now get employment from any company that see you as the best fit for the role they need, especially. So another breakdown of the front-end technologies is this. So we have React, we have Next, we have Angular. It's based on anyone that's they work similarly. It's still the same thing. It's not the same thing because we all have artists. Just like a man that has sparks and a man that has pot belly, you get, there are two different things. You get, people feel men with sparks are always harder than someone that has a pot belly, This is, so I'm kind of shaming anybody, but I'm just trying to tell you the difference between these guys. Yeah. So, and for the React too. So just a minute, something that I have here is just to pull you and let you know what you basically do in programming. It's nothing difficult. You can see what we have here is just a simple line of code, just two lines. You have your name, school still register, and name of school is P tag. P tag is an HTML element, and name is the name, which is skills register. And we put this together into a P tag, and it forms a component, GSX component. That's all. That's a component. You can combine that to give you a component on its own. Thousands of components are what you combine together to give you an application. But if necessarily, there's no have to be thousands. You can have 10 components and you have your application. It is not difficult. So again, because of our time, we have DOMs. We have DOMs in React.js, and generally we are taking JS as a case study. We'll talk about DOMs, virtual DOM, and new DOM. Basically, you have a checker and a double checker. The checker itself is the first one that processes a particular stuff. Main reason why all these libraries and frameworks are very useful because they render. So when an application render, it gets to the virtual DOM, and the virtual DOM compares with the real DOM. Is there an update? If there's an update, it pushes the update, and if not, it stops. You can see if it pushes the update, the system is going to render, and that's just the connection between the two. So we have components, just like the one I explained. We have pure components, we have hooks, we have context, we have props, we have state management. I'm not going to burn much of our time, but these are just basic building blocks of React.js plus time is fast spent, and the backend. So your backend technology also, we have Node.js, we have Next, we have Express.js. So these are just what we use to build the backend technology over there. This same thing, some of them are what your banks, what they use, times C# or something. So, but who are the guys building these things? They are professionals. Yes, professionals, but they still use the same thing they are using. How do you build yourself into being a professional? It's based on wherever you enroll, picking the best course, and this best course can allow you to become a professional in just a few months or something, and you get to build the same thing that banks, offices, and the likes use. It might sound large, but the wrong codes, they are not running magics. So that is concerning that part. So a breakdown of backend technologies like Node Express and Next.js are just middlewares, routers, indexers, controllers, schemas. So let me just combine middlewares and routes together. we have a street. A street in a street. The street is like a route. Yes, and in this street we have in this street we are in this main street we have roads like closed and the likes, and we have houses. These houses are middleways. We have thousands of about 10 houses in a particular street. These 10 houses, we can call them middleways, but they are in a single route. This route is narrowed. Maybe that's the connection between these stores, and it's not really difficult, just the way I explained, but it sounds simple, but you just have to put in more effort and you get it. So the index, the server, the controllers, and the schema. So based on the scope of this particular program, we are going to go deep. So we have Nest, which works based on modules, injectors, details, entities, and services. I don't know how I would put this to you, but same way, Nest is based on Express Engine. So what I've explained earlier is still based on Nest is based on it, but in a more complex manner and secured manner. But it's also the backend technology that we use to build the app server that you all interact with. So we have the database too. A database is not just a single stuff. We have different types of database. We have different types. We have SQL, MySQL, and the likes. Main reason is because we have preference over the other. Some have preference over the other. SQL are just table and columns. MySQL are based on objects, arrays, and the likes. So you get that the difference is just because MySQL is majorly based on JavaScript. And that's why you see JavaScript engineers, they are always kind of strict with what they use. They, in fact, do not like to use anything other than JavaScript. I hope at this point in time I can say we explain in just the overview of web, the overview of what you see on the internet. I hope up to this level you have something to say, okay, fine, you have a little understanding of how the web works. So I were able to break down your database. So under the relational of SQL, we have the MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, Postgres, like, and then the MySQL, we have MongoDB, Cassandra, Redis, Couchbase, we have a lot, Graph, object-oriented, and many more, timestamp, cloud database, XML. So you might know this database, but we still have a way we interact with database. So database, we don't praise on them. So there are some people, there's some set of people that are database engineers because they work majorly on database and they see on the internet. I don't know if that's kind of clear to some level. So the bigger picture that I know we all are always interested in. With all we have said, what are we expecting? Those are monthly allowance. What do we think? What are we going to gain yet in terms of once we are able to dive deep into what I've explained? In Nigeria, here in Nigeria, with the economy we have, we still have we still have some big fish. Like let's say we have a lot. Like fish is like a lot rather. Like we can still gain from. So we have what I mean by what I'm trying to reference is companies are still paying huge amounts of money as regards the development in Nigeria. So with this, we have let me say the junior, the entry level, and the senior developer. So based on web in Nigeria, you can still get jobs
that pay you 200 a month. Junior developer, you can say they're paid 250, and a senior developer, mostly we get paid around 600 per month at times. And also, when we talk about apps, building applications, we have 300, we have 250, based on what you're handling. You might be handling their backend, you might be handling their front end, and maybe the full stack. How we get. So being the full stack is a combination of building the front end and the back end developer, being the full stack. So the full stack is going to aim, you understand, is going to aim more than what a front end or a back end engineer is actually going to gain. So we have pays like 700, and that's why you see, we have a lot of people in this amount, earning more in terms, let me say, they are earning more than this. So, but before you get to this, then I'm sure you must be a professional. So you must have gone through a series of coding practice, like you must have practiced a lot. So, and when you're combining the two, being a web and an app developer, you must, you're aiming higher, and that's why the pay is always higher. So, but is it possible for me to be a web and app developer? Yes, it takes you nothing, but just maybe several years of a whole lot of hard work. But at times it's not that large, but you get to have experience in companies and the likes before you get to this level. I'm not trying to discourage you. Entry-level jobs in Nigeria still pay 200, 300, and 350 at times. So, and we have a lot of companies looking for developers. But the issue we have currently is that we have the entry level currently being saturated. Because entry level is saturated, that's the reason why you think you are applying and you're not getting interviews from companies, because a lot of people have the basic understanding, but not most of them do not have the mid-level, not to even talk of professional. They have limited. The mid-level is also getting saturated, but as for professionals, let me say, they know themselves. Yes, they know themselves. And that's why you think companies are not calling people. We have a lot of entry-level guys. What I'm trying to say is you have to scale up, practice more, and that's it. So if you should get an international offer, it's always way more. And this is in dollars. Yet imagine let's say an entry level guy earning $3,000, $2,500 per month. These are not imaginary figures. They are people earn it here in Nigeria. Here in Nigeria, we have a lot of people earning more. We have a lot of people earning 8,000 now weekly. So it depends on companies and the like. So these figures are not imaginary, but these are get rich quickly syndrome or something. You have to work and you have to invest in yourself for a few months or something before you start getting jobs and high pays or something you get. So not that this is going to come to you in just a month or something. No. We are not here to tell you about probably a gets rich or quickly something. This is not magic or what's yeah. So next one is just the app development. I'm not going to take much of our time. The basic what is quite different here is the app, the front end part. And that's the mobile application. When you're accessing the internet, you're accessing through the web. When you're accessing your application, you're accessing through app. An app is based on different operating systems. You have the Apple Store, and we also have the Google Store. the Play console, Play Store. So these are two different operating systems, and depending on the one you have, you get to install your application there. But irrespective of the one you have, you can access the web from anywhere. That's just the difference. That's just the difference. The same DB that the web communicates with is the same DB that the app communicates with. The same backend is the same backend that the web communicates with. But when it comes to the front end facing, which is the mobile app you have there, it's always different because we have different operating systems. And the way we bundle these applications are quite different. .apk, IPA, different respectively for Play Store and iOS. I'll put that part. So still the same bundling and SDK. So the little what is different here, or let me say the difference here is why during the web you don't really use SDKs, but in mobile you use a lot of SDKs combined together to build them, and we have mobile app frameworks and the likes. So just have little stores. If you're a backend engineer, it's easy for you to transition into either an app developer or a web developer. You get that part. So also package bundlers, we also have different package bundlers. So they are way different from what we use in the internet, but still, once you have the idea, or let me say, once you get into these stores, like they become easy. It's just like you trying to sail across an ocean. Once you start sailing somehow, you're going to kind of, it's easy. It's somehow easy for you because you have little. So you've probably you started the journey and you got to, let's say, over 1 over 2 over 3 of the journey, you would have, you have adapted to the, the winds and the lights that you have. The same thing here. You have the web idea, so it's quite easy. But are we building with a single language? We have different languages. But the ones that are quite okay are the ones that are specific for what you want to build. You can't decide to build. You cannot decide or let me say sorry to build a gaming app. I'm going to choose React Native. It does not follow, especially if it's a CPU intense mobile gaming app. So you have to build based on specifications, languages, frameworks, libraries. They have dedications. Like we dedicate some for just something simple, and some are dedicated for gaming, for CPU intense, memory intense workload. So we have different stuff. So also we have the web. Sorry. It's not meant to be the web there. It should be the app there. So this is just the brief overview concerning the app development too. So one last thing I should discuss before I move on to the career path is how do we deploy all these stores? We deploy these stores on servers. Servers are your laptops. That's it. Servers are your laptops. So what we have in the cloud is still an operating system. What is on your laptop is an operating system. But in the cloud, we have 99% uptime. But on your own laptop, don't forget that once you are done with this stuff, you are going to shut down the laptop. But in the cloud, we do not shut it down except for maintenance time or some 1 or 2 stores. So we still run operating systems there, but they are always on, ready to take in requests. But once you shut down your laptop, you cannot take a request. You can no longer take in requests, probably if we have someone trying to access your system. And yes, what I'm trying to tell you is that you can sit at your home and manage your server yourself on your laptop. So, but that's not the goal here. So once you go further, you're going to get the logic behind all these stuff. They are not difficult. They are quite easy, very easy. So as a web developer, how do you attain this level of a pro in web development? So you can actually start by learning JavaScript, CSS. It's a front-end framework. So you can learn any of the frameworks libraries I highlighted earlier. The backend language. You build your portfolio. You gain professional experience. Always try to join open source organizations. Try to apply for entry levels, internships from organizations without pay, times, or with pay. You definitely want to include them in the resume and the likes. So always try to learn and improve. And in certifications, here at Digital Skills School, we are going to give you certificates based on whatever course you learn here. So this is going to show that you actually completed this particular stuff. We are going to be tested soon. So we are going to test you with people outside the organization before you gain this certificate. So we are not just giving you a paper just because you paid money for the course. Then after that, you can now decide to go further. Just like you finished in your high school or something, and you decide to go further by attaching little degrees to your particular stuff. So when we talk about the mobile tool, it's not necessary you go to school before you be a software engineer. It's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. So all you have to do is just learn all these technical skills, build a portfolio, have a network, create network, or create connections. So on LinkedIn, any social media platform, Reddit, and the likes, so that you can also go international or something. So we have this job search. So we have various job sets available on the internet. At Digital Skills School, we provide jobs. We provide jobs. Counsel you based on what you think would be good for you. We also invite you for a one-on-one to tell us what is it that you have passion in. Then we design a particular particular path for you to learn so that you can achieve that. It's not necessary you be a web developer or a mobile developer before we can call you a programmer. No, it's not. You can be an instructor. Just probably you're building bots. So it is kind of diversified, like we have a lot. So tech has different branches, a lot. So usually please endeavor to join open source. What we are enjoying currently in tech is basically based on open source organizations. Not lately that companies that are open source are now converting their applications to paid stores. Previously, open source organizations, they allow us to be able to use their tools for free. So if you also use the little you know to help the society, you can make the tech a better space for the young governments that are coming behind you. And this is nothing but giving back to the society. That's it. So in combination, combining these two together, we have the front-end, not back-end developer, we have the full-stack developer, we have the development team lead, development manager, application tester, course instructor, open source contributor, project manager. these are different careers we have in tech. This is even this is let me say little. We have a lot. Being a product manager, it does not mean that you have to have full understanding of everything. But you must have the ability to manage products. Being a CTO does not mean that you have to know everything, but you must have the basics that is needed. Why? Is because if one of the guys you are heading is having an issue, you must be able to troubleshoot and give solutions to that. And that's why it's not let me call it a easy position to attain in tech. So it's based on the technical so mathematics concerning that part. So web developers, they are not magicians. It is what you can do. If I can do it, I'm definitely sure you can do it. All you have to do is just the dedication, then putting more effort in it, and kind of trying to dig deeper in it. So also for mobile, you can also be a mobile front-end developer, back-end, full stack, team lead, developer manager, development manager, application tester, course instructor, open source project manager. So something you need to understand here is that if you are in tech, you have to build around yourself. You are and let me call you, you are into history. Yeah, let me say you're an historian, and you have your network comprised of only people in your field. It is going to be difficult for you to get a job. But try to network in your own field too. You're trying to transition into this career. You have to be able to say, okay, I need to build with companies, technology companies. This is when we practically know that we are trying to create a network. I hope you get. So this is when this is the basic meaning of creating network around your skill or what you do. You get, that's it. So cloud servers that I tried to explain to you the other time in terms of AWS and the likes, servers that are dedicated, virtual private, managed servers, cloud servers, storage servers, database servers, application servers. I actually did not memorize this, and I'm not telling anybody to memorize this. These are stuff that you would, they are not like I don't know how to explain it, but this is just the normal thing. You can know these stuff in a number of like months. It's just based on dedication and trying to. You don't have to rush it at once. You can decide not to even interact with the servers. In an ideal organization, you applied for a developer, you have nothing to do with the server. But if you tell them you can operate the server too, then they bring you on board. You get, so you don't have to rush yourself now. No, you don't. But there are just basic things that, what if the engineers are not available? Does that mean you cannot interact with the server? It does not make any sense. So that's why you have to also get to familiarize yourself with service. How are you going to do that? You've completed the project. Try to find a course in Visual Studio that can help you deploy applications to the server. When you start interacting with the servers, you're going to know these stuff. Virtual private server is just, well, this is just the scope of this particular program does not covers giving you depth basic this, but they are just sweet, interesting, and cool. So we have different hosting platforms and the likes too. So hosting is quite different from servers, and it's even quite different from your domain. But the middleman is going to mix everything together. So, and well, I do not blame them because they don't have the technical know-how. You get, so that's just it. So, learning resources are free and paid learning resources, digital skills school, yeah, and some other ones that you might decide to use yourself. So I've encouraged you to kind of try to apply for open source organizations, and please give back to the society by kind of applying for open source programs where you can also combine heads together, put heads together with guys, and develop something that can be beneficial to the society, irrespective of how busy we are. So that's it, and we sincerely appreciate you guys for listening. So sorry I took a lot from you, but I'm so sorry, but I hope you guys have something to take on now, and I would like to entertain the question before I conclude, but I would like the moderator to take over from me in terms of
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf. I mean, that was a lot. Okay, guys. I mean, let's unmute ourselves and give Mr. Yusuf a round of applause. I mean, that was not easy, man. Compiling all those things. So let's clap for him a bit. Unmute yourself, everybody. Unmute yourself and clap. That was something. That was something. It's not easy. Let's speak. See, there's a difference between knowing something and being able to teach that thing. There are a lot of people that know stuff. They know it very well, right? But being able to teach that thing is a different skill on its own, right? And of course, there's a lot we would have covered. We just wanted to give you an general overview of what this course is all about. Now, our course at Digital Skills School is front-end web development and full stack web development. So full stack is a combination of front end and back end. Now, mobile app development is a different course on its own, right? It's not the same as this full stack web development or front end web development, right? So that is true. I just wanted to get that clarified. Now, this is time for question and answer. And so if you have any question, this is time to unmute yourself and kind of like ask. Now, first of all, before we go into that, I want to first of all apologize for the little glitch we had at the beginning of this training. We had some hackers join this particular Zoom meeting, and they were trying to like disrupt, those things that they were drawing on the screen, right? Those things you saw when the facilitator had to stop sharing and reshare, right? That's to show you how advanced tech has become, that they can even hack into your Zoom meeting, right? So it shows that there's a lot of opportunities in tech space. There's a lot of opportunity in tech, honestly, because people learn these skills and use it for bad. So people learn it and use it for good. So there's a lot of opportunities. I just wanted to apologize for that anyway. I mean, we have everything under control now. We have to remove some people from the meeting anyway, just so that we can have a smooth sailing. So anyway, if you have any question at this point in time, unmute yourself and ask. I'm expecting loads of questions. So thank you so much, Mr. Albert, Mr. Taiwo, Mr. Kenneth, user is Yusuf Jubril, there is Damilola, for those of you that have been able to stay till this point, thank you so much. So please, if you have a question, now is the time.